Welcome back, everyone. 欢迎大家回来。今天是第157天，4天。It is day 154. Business as usual. Ge was Kaku Ge from yesterday. That was the low point. Nothing unexpected. Usually, you have two or three things for every 100. In this case, in HanziHero, it's pretty regular. We get around 130 nowadays. I think it's been normalized.
冒险
That's important. Get into our lesson. 冒险. It's kind of funny because 冒险 we got this in our recent level up as well. What was it? Ball. It was introduced as Ball for Dare. I'm pretty sure this is the same character. Only it's like connected. It's connected into a sun. Like this. Pretty sure it's the same character. Over on the Wanikani side. 冒险. Because if you dare to look at danger, you dare for danger, it's to go on an adventure. You go on an adventure, it can be perilous, it's a dare, you go on a whim, you commit to an adventure. Or to risk, right? Risk, danger. During an adventure, you risk all sorts of danger things happening. Yep. Adventure, adventurous, to adventure. 冒险。冒险是它的how do you say this? 趣 this is 趣 兴趣兴趣之一
冒险是他的兴趣之一。
Yeah, 兴趣 we don't have 兴 yet, but 兴趣 is for interest. It's a word that I hold personally because it's a very important one. I often ask people, 你的兴趣是什么 right? Or 什么东西你要兴趣 right? 兴趣对什么东西 or something like that. I kind of said it in a really roundabout way. Like you have what kind of interest, like what interest do you have towards certain things? Like various versions of trying to get to asking what are your interests, right? 我想要冒险去 yeah. Oh, interesting. It's added tacked on as opposed to saying like 我想要冒险 right? Like I just want to adventure. This went to I want to go on an adventure.
冒险
冒险
种族
种族种族 kind or kind clan. Okay, kind clan. All right, yeah, that's fine. Kind clan works. Race makes sense. What was ethnic? No, ethnic group is not close. I'm thinking of Japanese. Yeah. If you divide all the clans in history into different groups of species, your race would indicate which one your forefathers came. Yeah, ethnicity is what I was thinking of. 它是哪个种族的
他是哪个种族的？
美国有 oh nice yeah 美国有 how does this work 许多不同 种主的人 very important, but often incredibly reductive from foreigner perspective. Foreigner perspective tends to use a lot of reductive look from the outside. I happen to be one of them, so
种族预约
Yaku end up being on the right side in this one. That's yo Yaku. Oh wait, no, just kidding. No, this is yo Yaku. Close enough. Something changed about this, right? Yeah, this one is different. Yoyaku. Yeah. In advance, make an appointment. Appointment. 你的预约是几点？你的预约是几点？他没有预约。
预约
I say you a little bit too. It's you. 预约优越 This excellent change to excellent or pass excellent. Oh, that's not change, that's pass. Yes, clearing. Pass. You are superior if you are so excellent you pass everyone else in greatness. All right. Huh. What are you? Always. No idea. 他 something 觉得自己比别人优越。
他总觉得自己比别人优越。
他总觉得自己比别人优越的生活it's 环什么环境优越 no 优越的生活环境。Oops.
优越报警
report to the police. 报警 Oh, does that have report to the police? Okay. 最好打电话报警。Yeah, we better call the police.
报警
Okay. Wait, how does this work? But all I'm gut feeling? Good gut feeling, right? Whoops. That gut feeling failed.
报警
优越，
优越，预预约，
预约，
都是约yeah. Japanese. Oh no. Hold up. I don't remember the two. Ah. Yeah, I don't remember. Wait, did I not type Mao? What did I type? I don't remember not typing that. Seeing written Chinese feels so strange when you only know Japanese. I think you're fine. You probably knew what this is, though, right? I'm pretty sure you know what this is. Wait, do I? Oh no, maybe not, because they probably use... Oh, you did? Okay, yeah. I think it's fun. I actually think in the future, when I do this, it'll be fun to do it. It's just slightly different, yeah. And here's a fun thing, human. I think when you only know Japanese and then you use it for Chinese, even if it's slightly different, the Chinese thing will be fine. At least in my opinion. Maybe I'm a little bit too biased. I could be biased in Chinese, but the slight difference is that the vocabulary has slight differences. Like they're less exact, in my opinion, personally. They're less exact than the Japanese counterpart. As in, these phrases do have those slight differences included. So whatever like primary, like whatever like primary definition they have, it's the phrases tend to be more flexible than that. Does that imply that Chinese is more contextual? I'm not sure. Maybe. I would say like fundamentally the sentences are more contextual because they don't have like when you're reading, right? Where we're talking about looking at characters, it requires more context. Is Chinese also a high context? Yeah, it is. Because it throws away like all the convenience. Hear me out. I kind of like Japanese. I like Japanese because it's less context. Now hear me out. In English, we're coming from English. It's like, yeah, Japanese is more context. But then when you go to Chinese, you're like, oh yeah, now we don't have to conjugate or use particles in that way and stuff, but I kind of like it too. So I kind of like English because it's very descriptive. Like I like the languages for what they have and they don't have, but in Japanese, yeah, you dispense with even more things. And this one is like right, you would get adventure, but it's also to adventure, being adventurous. It's all of the above. So like this is both can function likely as an adjective, a verb, and when it breaks up, there's often a chance that each of the individual characters also can still contain their definition. So like you don't know, and in a way in SRS it could make it more fun to remember this stuff or not fun, right? For someone who likes to be really exact, this is not going to be very pleasurable for them, because you don't when you're reading a sentence and you learn that this is adventure, well, it's more than adventure. It's to adventure, to be adventurous, is adventurous, having adventure. Like it's all of the above, because you need a sentence in order to suggest what it is. But I think it's also, if you embrace it, it explains why I like interpreting in Chinese. Like what I mean is, yesterday when I was talking with Imbo, right? Imbo was here. I was giving examples for Chinese, and there might be something to the idea that whenever I'm interpreting an English sentence for my parents, it sounds dramatically different if you try to translate it. But I think it might have something to do with the idea that when you're speaking Chinese, it's like, well, it's this phrase, but this phrase, you can in English you could translate it as though it's a verb, or you can reword it as though it's an adjective, or you can, whichever is convenient. So when you get an example, oh, this is kind of blocked off, but one of the examples is adventure is one of his interests, right? This is the example. It's probably not visible because my face, oh no, it's visible. Okay, so like this says adventure is his, right? His interest, but one of his interests, one. But you could just say, you could interpret it as adventuring. Adventuring is an interest. But you can also say, because in context, you would probably imply the person already. So typically even ta just gets glossed over. So you're like, oh, adventure is one of the interests. And the reason why is ta is neutered in sound. So ta can mean his, her, it, whatever. So if you're interpreting, you could often just say, oh, adventuring is one of the interests. So, and then the way this is interpreted is like, is Chinese pro drop like Japanese is? No, it is not. Yeah, you need the pronouns all the time. Or you try to include the pronoun. Ta is everywhere, right? So it's a habit to start with the pronoun if you can. However, pronoun is often dropped when it's repeated afterwards, like Japanese, I feel. So if you already established that ta is in the beginning of your statement, then I usually drop it. My parents do so as well, where but you still use pronouns. Yeah, ta is very common. In fact, my parents have this habit of saying her and she in the beginning of every sentence, because you have to specify a lot of times. It's kind of like you always have to specify time. So the funny thing about Japanese, when I was learning Japanese, was I'm like, huh. So now I always say like kyo wa, tsuki wa. Kind of like in Spanish you don't do this either, but I do it in Spanish, like ahora, ahora mismo, hoy. I always start with that because in Chinese you start with that. You commonly start with that. So in English, I often start with an adverb phrase that tells what time it is before I do it. So today is day number 146. Oh, at this moment, I'm currently studying English, or at this moment, I'm currently studying Japanese. So in Chinese, you need to specify the time or the context in which the verb is following is get conjugated. So you get conjugated in your forehead, like it's in your head. There's no like indicator. There are a few exceptions, but there's usually no indicator of what type of tense you're trying to say unless you specify it. Or like specify it in context, which is really interesting. I quite like Japanese. Like I think reading Japanese from a learning perspective is like a great balance between English and Chinese, where I feel like you have enough guardrails for Japanese. So if you don't know the relationship between a word, a particle helps a lot. So when you're reading, it's like, oh, well, oh, okay. In English, it's, you have to explicitly say everything. You have to explicitly add the prepositions, the articles, and the prepositional phrases and whatnot. And in Chinese, they're absent. They're just absent. But the neat thing is, I don't know if you've ever, I'm sure you probably encountered a podcast before where someone said this. This is a very popular thing in those who teach Japanese. They talk about how if you want to get in like a better pickup of the Japanese language, for example, from an English perspective, you have to get into the mind of what they're thinking, like what is important, right? And I earnestly feel the same way about Chinese, which I'm still trying to acquire, like the Japanese feel, like the Japanese mindset of how they express things. The way I can describe Chinese with my English tendencies is because Chinese often, when you think about the first thing you say, right, whenever you go out, when I have to say something to my parents, I start with the day, or I start with the time, I start with the frequency, and then followed up by the location, if there's a location, and then I worry about the rest. So like Ginan wa gyanoko. So today I'm going to leave. Not I'm going to leave today, or I'm leaving today, I'm going. Like there's no, like it's often you have to specify the time, position, and then the action. So in Japanese, you kind of have to get used to that too. So how do they go about it? And I kind of sort of got into that rhythm. Like often I think of, oh, we gotta specify the topic. Just quick, topic comes first, right? Like if there's a topic, it's gonna come first, and then you get your objects in, and then you concern yourself with the action. And then that's kind of what Chinese did in a different way. And in English, I don't even know how to describe English. That's the problem. I think to me, I have a problem with my own complacency. I'm incredibly complacent when it comes to English. So it's been very humbling every time I'm describing Chinese, because it's in like a middle of learning and not learning, and Japanese is all learning most of the time. And when I'm describing English, my explainers for English and my tendencies are kind of nebulous. It's like, you know it if you know it, but it's giving me a lot of clarity on how little I pay attention to my English now, where I'm describing, like, what is the first thing you think of when you're initiating a English sentence, right? Like when you're trying to tell someone a statement, the idea is, how do you express to like a Japanese speaker and a Chinese speaker, for example, what is it that you think about? Like, what is the essence of the priority that you're thinking when you're speaking English? I think to me, that is one of the aha moments in language. What would you say your best language is other than English and Fujianese? Outside my best is Spanish. It's definitely Spanish, which happens to be the first learned language that I have. So when it comes to like intuiting grammar, I don't think about Spanish grammar very often anymore. Like when I'm reading someone's like sentences and stuff, I get really lazy and I just paraphrase everything. So it's one of those things, like if you get in the habit of not speaking out loud, but you understand everything, that's what I mean by complacent. So in English, I'm trying my best, and streaming helps quite a lot. Like when I read your sentence, I am telling myself I should read that sentence out loud. Yesterday, Procall asked me a question, or like 2 days ago, Procall made a statement, and I misread journey or journal 2 times in a row, even though I read it. So that's kind of one of those things. If you get to a position, one of my landmarks, in my opinion, when it comes to understanding language, is the moment where you automatically start to summarize things. Where, oh yeah, this person said a lot of things, but I just placed it in my own words. So Spanish is probably the next one. When people type in Spanish, like, oh, okay, and then I will think of a reply, right? And the reply would be something that is nuanced enough to give the person the impression that I understood what they said. And Fujianese comes next, and then English comes last. English and Fujianese, when it comes to conversation, is about the same. Where, like, right now, I could say something generic, like, chỉ luôn ngoài gari gong ingung, dan gong ingung, toik ngoài chỉ luôn gari toik, Nippon Hoa, right? Nippon Hoa, rồi普通话. Dan na sai ingung do tuan ya do Juan ingung. Actually, I don't actually know how to say translate in Fujianese. What I would probably say is go from, instead I would use the phrase go from Japanese to English, or English to Japanese, as opposed to saying translate. But hear me out. There's a very great chance that translate has the words to deal with going from one thing to the other thing. And that's kind of what I like. That's what's kind of like baked in, that I'm okay with Japanese and Chinese a lot of times when it comes to kanji and Hanzi. Sometimes if you say a word or you combine phrases, it ends up being very close to the actual thing. So if I had to guess on translate, it could be something like Huan, which is to exchange, Huan and Huanzi, maybe. Huanzi as in you exchange words or exchange characters. So that could be a possibility, but instead I would phrase it in a way like, oh, I'm changing English to Japanese. That's what I'm learning to do. I'm changing English to Japanese. And then eventually you replace that word with translate, which whatever it is. I actually don't know what the word for translate is in all the languages. Oh, actually, just kidding. Or not, like, not English, of course, I know translate, but I think yaku, right? Yakusu. Yakusu is Japanese, right? But I have no idea. Wait, let me see if I even recognize the character for Yakusu. Nope. It's fun. What may I ask? Do you use more than one honyaku? Or honyaku? Yeah, the translate. Yeah, in a translating manner. Yeah, to translate manner. Yep. And then there's the translator, right? Hoyakusha. The only reason I know that loosely is because Duolingo had honyaku and yakusu. I don't know what context, but I remember it though. What do you use any other language for, like, fun and whatnot? I think Spanish is. There's something about Spanish. I like it. I make tons. The most consistent errors are the most fundamental parts of Spanish, which is the things I gloss over all the time. That's gender and plurality, right? It's very, very important for listening, in my opinion, for the gender and plurality. But when it comes to writing, I'm incredibly complacent. Like, I skip over gender, plural. So when someone's typing, like, I have appointments, and now like they would type a whole paragraph and I would understand it, but I would skip over all plurals and genders because the context in Chinese, like I read Spanish like I read Chinese, which is very not that great when you're trying to write Spanish. So when I'm doing Duolingo, I'm spending a lot of time focusing on that. Like, actually, it's kind of humorous because Duolingo does the one thing that I'm very complacent in Spanish. I do not pay attention enough to how I'm typing gender and plurality agreements and article agreements, because to me, when I'm reading Chinese, none of that stuff exists. Or like when I'm thinking and speaking, most of that stuff does not exist. So therefore, I get too complacent. So when I say what's my best language other than English and Fujianese, I'm being very, very picky because my Spanish reading is really lazy. And that's one of the, in my opinion, for me, one of the bad things about becoming quote unquote more comfortable or more fluent in a language. Sometimes you forget your fundamentals when you have more than one language, and then you start treating other languages based on the frequency of convenience. So if I am often thinking in English and in Chinese most of the time, I read Spanish and I omit the details of things because it fills in. I think Spanish, when treated as a contextual language, right? When someone speaks a lot types a lot in Spanish, whether it's plural or whether it's he, she, and stuff, contextually is sufficient. But to the language itself, you must specify. And to me, why is that important? When you're listening is incredibly useful to be able to discern, at least from my revisiting of Spanish. It is incredibly important when you're typing. Yeah, it might not be as, in my opinion, it might not be as useful when it comes to like, well, it's, bolígrafo, masculino or femenino, right? Femenina. And it can be, when you practice that, it pays back, in my opinion, in hearing, because there are times when you're like, okay, you immediately associate feminine and plurality, so you know which one's referring to which one, automatically. And in hearing, but in writing, I'm really terrible. Like, I'm so loose. I actually use autocorrect most of the time. So it's kind of like English speakers, right? English speakers nowadays on the internet, when you're typing, you don't even know what your typos are because most of it autocorrects. When I'm typing in Spanish, I rely a lot on autocorrect because they auto gender and they auto plural correct. So now I'm like doing Duolingo and I drop an article, I drop the personal ahs, I drop a whole heck of a lot of things. It's kind of like if Japanese person decided I'm just going to drop wo, right? Oh, all the time, even in writing, it will still be marked incorrect because you just got really lazy at writing. You're always very bad in getting the word gender right. Yeah, I get super lazy. I used to be like, used to do this a lot, like in high school and whatnot. And then after reading Spanish for so long, I've gotten so lazy at it. And there's nothing else that I do right now. Like, there is nothing else that I do that is so ham on plurality, article plurality, and gender on all of them. So I think Spanish is making me feel more alert again. So Spanish is providing another form of alertness. And hear me out, this might sound weird, but learning Spanish is helping with my particles in Japanese. Like, when I'm reading Japanese now, I'm paying more attention to not the vocabulary words. So I'm paying more attention to, ni, wo, wa, oh, wa, and like the endings and stuff, because that's Spanish. You require, even, it's not just the verbs and the same particle, it keeps changing over time. And Spanish constantly willy-nilly, which is funny. I think it's pretty funny. Like, okay, well, how do you know this is female, male? You just know. And then it's like, well, there's some general rules about things are male and female. And it's like, yeah, until it's not. So it's like a weird thing now that onyomi and kunyomi is not so taxing anymore, because you kind of replace it with some other function that another written language has. In Chinese, I'm gonna, this is either a good or a bad thing in the long run, but I earnestly, in currently for me, and it could be familiarity with Fujianese, but Chinese require the least amount of effort for me right now, which is humorous in my opinion, because if you think about like the FSI and the English, the US difficulty scale and stuff, Chinese would easily be the one in the first category, right? My first thought is, man, but it's so different. Like, I feel like I'm legitimately being taxed every single time. When I type a Spanish phrase, I'm like, okay, hold up. I probably messed up gender somewhere. Let's go over the let's go over every word, because if you screw up something in Chinese, it kind of the grammar is self-contained a lot of times. So the phrase itself contains the grammar. So when you screw up one phrase, it's that part that gets screwed up. It's like modular in the nature. It's a little bit more modular. So the rest can still be intelligible when it comes to the writing, but that phrase thing will change the context. In Spanish, if you screw up the gender of something, it can screw up all of the agreements of your sentence, right? Because then your conjugation is dependent on the gender, which is dependent on the number of the object. So your whole sentence could be marked as incorrect because you decided that, I don't know, foto is masculino, right? Like you think it's masculine and then everything is conjugated to photo. So that whole phrase that you had with photo as the object would be incorrect. And that's kind of funny. And obviously it's not that big it's not as bad as it seems, because you see it as one thing. You messed up one thing. Although it feels kind of bad when you look at it, it's like, oh, well, your entire sentence is incorrect. Like all the stuff is actually incorrect based on that one thing. In Chinese, if you mess up one part, it's usually just that one part that gets messed up. Unless there are few occasions like comparisons. So if you compare incorrectly, then yeah, it could flip the thing. I think loan and borrow are sinister. Between Japanese, Chinese, even, yes, Spanish. Wait, or no, I think English and Spanish is pretty good together. But Chinese and Japanese, the way they compare things, why? And then you throw in Spanish and English, compare it to, like, which direction is it? Is it the thing you're loaning, or the target you're loaning to, or the person that's allowing you to borrow something, or the object that you are borrowing from that person? Which one is coming first? And then when you do comparisons, is it the thing that comes first is the thing that is less or more than the less than more than you're using? So like if you're saying this is more beautiful than this? This is prettier than this? Is it you state the thing that is prettier first or the thing that isn't prettier first? And that stuff, in my opinion, gets a little wild. I'm still not sure about loans and borrows. I actually do pause on loan and borrow. So whenever I ask, I kind of cheat. I cheat a little with my parents. I say, I kind of say this, like this thing, and I would say I give you this thing, as opposed to this person, or like I let you borrow this thing. Like I don't want to. I kind of that's, in my opinion, a great example of being complacent in a language. I prefer to say it in a different way in order to avoid saying it in a way that I don't often say, so I just get bad at it. And I think that's language in general. I think that's what happens when someone becomes fluent in a language. In my opinion, the true, like, one of the consequences, one of like the funny like jokes, like if I had to make a language learning joke, I would say something like, you're fluent in a language when you have the choice of deliberately avoiding saying something a certain way because you can. That is, in my opinion, one of the consequences, or the jokingly realities, of becoming fluent in a language. You decide to often say things in a specific way, and you know it's acceptable and it's normal enough that you don't have to say it in a different way. And in Fujianese, when I'm learning Chinese and when I'm learning Mandarin, it has revealed to me time and time again, there are words like I don't have a word for that. I don't know what it is. And to me, that is the greatest example of heritage speaking. You get stuck so quickly, you get fossilized so quickly to specific phrases that you no longer require or think you need to expand or continue to learn the language. And I feel that to a lesser extent, that is what native speakers do most of the time. When they are not actively wanting to learn anymore, or when you're looking for someone who's a native speaker and you're using them as an example, and maybe you even become friends with them and they're teaching you things, you have to the native speaker fallacy is one of the things to keep in mind compared to someone who teaches the language, right? Oftentimes you find even the polyglots that talk about input and whatnot, eventually on a lesser occasion, like to lesser degrees, they eventually end up crossing paths with consulting with someone that is of another level, that is involved in the process of teaching. They spend most of the time teaching, so to get that feedback that is required, where even LLMs, right, cannot provide, as Inbo mentioned yesterday, which I agree with, because human oversight is closer to statistical average, right? When you're using data sets and stuff, there's like averaging effects and statistics involved. So how does someone say to borrow? Well, I usually say this person gave that to them and they're going to return it later. So instead of saying this person loan that person something to my parents, I describe literally, this person is giving this thing to this person right now and they will return it later. And that's usually what I say. So I have no idea how to say, I think it's 绝. So 借 knowing this person or that person, 借 knowing 决一, I don't know, a book, a 居 出, and then maybe like ding na yi ge a return. See, I don't even have a word for return. I just say, then he gives it back. He ding na do可以给别人压力 or 都可以给都可以. I don't know. It's rough. When I try to think of it that way, that's where I feel human being, you probably heard this before, like stop translating in your head. That to me is what I feel like people are referring to when they say stop translating in your head. Not that you shouldn't use whatever you understand about your native language to augment and learn from your native language. I think the whole translating thing in the head is often talking about the aspect where when you're starting to think about trying to say certain phrases one-to-one, oftentimes you might not be able to find the words because the words are not like that. So I think the most funny situations often is when a friend tells me, oh yeah, hey, can you tell your parents hi for me? And then they would be standing next to me and I would say like, oh, 一家几女儿一共你好, right? They would, another person would expect, oh, it would sound and feel like longer, or the cadence would be similar to what your reference is, like your native language, but it ends up coming off as something different, right? And that, I feel, is what causes the stop thing in translation, at least in my opinion. That's what it is. So if I try to translate something, I usually don't anymore. Like that's what I'm referring to as interpretation. When the doctor says, oh, it's not a problem, it's typical aging problem, and my interpretation of that to my parents is, you're old. 你老了, as in you've aged, and that was it. That's it. And the context is sufficient. So that's a way to illustrate, in my opinion, capturing what English feels like and what a variant of Chinese feels like. We're in the doctor's office, and the doctor is expected to explain something about why my father has like a skin atopic dermatitis, right? A skin problem. And my doctor was explaining the context. They were describing the descriptor of all the things, and I could tell my father that you're old. You got old. And in the nature of the language, it should have provided enough context that it's referring that your skin problem is getting old, like it's because of age. However, you can technically still do that in English. You can also technically do that in many other languages. The one thing that's interesting about that is, just because a language can and cannot do things isn't quite fluency. Like that's why people separate fluency from like understanding grammar, in my opinion, grammar and word usage and vocabulary, because I understand what people mean when they say you should listen to a Japanese person, like a native Japanese person, to normalize what they say, because underneath it all, you kind of get the groove of, instead of thinking about what you can say or all the different things you can say, you kind of think about what feels like you could say in this situation. And that's kind of how I interact with my best languages. Like whenever someone tells me a bad thing in Spanish, I'm like, que lástima. Está bien. oh, like it's okay. That's fine. It's like it's a shame, but it's fine. Que lástima. You kind of get that already in Japanese. Like after a while, I don't even recognize that I'm doing filler words in Japanese. Largely because you just hear it so often. Anyways, yeah. It's a great feeling. I hope you're getting that feeling while you're learning Japanese as well, human being. I think it's so hard to describe, but you know when you know it. The moment you realize, huh, yeah, just feel it. I'm getting to a point where I'm in like this slightly mid area where yeah, I'm just feeling it now. We're just going with it. It also makes my writing and reading it makes my writing really bad though. I genuinely skip words a lot, and I need to stop. Like I need to also be focused when I'm learning, like reading whole sentences. I can't tell you how often I would type like in Japanese, I would just skip a particle. It's like, well, there's enough context. You don't need to type the particle. Or like, oh well, you can just use sudo. I mean, it's already implied. It's probably because I'm Chinese bias. Whenever I think of conjugating a verb, the way I type Japanese sentences, the way I'm typing Japanese sentences is incredibly lazy. Because I'm like, you already know it's the past tense. I said kino. Kino already means it's past tense. And so I don't need to like use past tense. I just use sudo. Like sudo here. But then, someone would slap me in the face, right? So I'm trying not to. I'm keeping myself vigilant. And I think doing exercises like this, or like Duolingo or something that deals repetition, helps me with stop being an adult cutting corners. I think the more experienced you become, it actually makes one a little bit cutting corners. You kind of try to rush things. You're trying to go faster, right? Oftentimes. And I'm oftentimes, when I tell people to slow down and take a breather, it's more like I'm often talking about myself, because going fast also means it gets sloppier, and it might not even mean that much in the end, but to me it's kind of where a lot of learning can come from at the moment. Yeah, you already passed the translating your head stage. It felt surreal at first when you could just understand the Japanese directly. I know, right? There are points where like now like while watching anime, I finished catching up to One Piece. So now I'm gonna start watching Gintama. Gintama, all of Gintama is on my list now. Now it's like, because you can like just understand most of the things around it, I'm only listening for fun words now. Like, oh hey, I don't recognize that word. So you don't have to worry about all the words around. Like all the words around could help you on the things, but it's like it's like, what did that person just say? So it's kind of like English, right? Someone would say something, oh, this is a very interesting visage, and then you're listening, and it sounds like visage. What the heck is a visage? And that's how I feel about Japanese right now, and Chinese and Spanish. So that's where I want to be. I want to consistently make that a regular feeling. I think that to me is a moment where it's hard to explain how that feels, and the feeling that, okay, everything else is just normal things. So like, yeah, they're talking about their feelings. Yeah. And then suddenly someone says like inconspicuous in Japanese, and I'm like, what the heck does that word mean? well, it's got to be like a feeling and it's got to be a description. So we might as well go find out. And then because you already know it has something to do with a feeling, you already know that it's structured around like some reservations and some negativity. Then when you learn that the word is inconspicuous, or like the feeling is suspicious or inconspicuous, whatever you learn gets like nailed in really quickly, because now you're thinking in the target language. And I think that's cool. Now, speaking, obviously, output, we're not talking about output here. So it's, I think it's already incredibly rewarding now that you get to a point where you're feeling everything and you're like doing things like, what does my gut tell me? It's like, I don't know why this word is this, but it sounds like this. Like I've gotten to the point in SRS where I look at this and I'm like, probably this. I mean, it literally looks like this sound. and it's even weirder because I'm typing in pinyin for this, but in my head, I'm not imagining. I'm no longer imagining like Mao, right? Mao Xian. I'm not imagining Mao Xian. I'm just hearing Mao Xian in order to get it right. And of course, I still do typos and stuff, but it's really, really great. You get those stages. It's so wonderful. Like in English, when you're typing in English, you're not saying, yeah, in the, like, you're not picturing the literal, or at least I'm not. I'm not sure if you are, where like you want to type yeah, and you're like visualizing YEAH. You just got to the point where you skipped all that. Just like, okay, yeah. You just type it. Like when I'm saying yeah in my head, my fingers would move to yeah. And I feel after so much SRS, that's kind of what happens. And that's kind of a neat thing too. It's kind of fun. You don't, do you have human being, do you have any aspirations to like expand in the future? Because I've always curious how motivated, how often people stagger languages too. So far, Gecko is my best example. Expand how, like layering groups of languages. I think people like to layer groups of languages. So like if it's Japanese, then it would be possibly Chinese, or maybe even expanding the difference between like maybe a dialect and whatnot. I don't actually know what resources are like in Japanese for dialectic things. I think those things can happen while you're still learning new things in the target language, in my opinion. But I don't have a lot of people that I can share what I'm doing with. Gecko is doing that. So oftentimes Gecko and I talk about relationships between language because it's so engrossing. It's fun to talk about target languages in the reference of another target language, or in the reference of multiple languages. I think that's, you kind of do it inherently all the time once you expand in the sense of the overall language group, or maybe even an entirely different language group. Okay, you have some interest in Chinese. You might study abroad in a European country. Ooh. They don't want to get too caught up in another foreign language right now. Ah, okay. May I ask where you want to do you have any particular European country in mind? Oh yeah, I have to correct that. This is what uh, like this is what I was thinking in my head. Jung Jungzoku. Jungzoku. Gee. Okay. Anyways. Yeah, I want whichever one in Western Europe will take you. Ah, okay. Um, is your opportunities for studying abroad um something restricted? Like wherever you're going to study abroad, do you have like a pool of European countries that you can visit to study abroad? Or can you just like apply to all of them and like, oh yeah, what whatever flies? I if you asked me when I was 20 years old, is studying abroad useful or application or whatnot, or like even not even for language learning, like just going studying abroad, I would say no. It's a waste of time and whatnot. Like when I was 20, but now that I'm older than 21, 21 was when I left or to study abroad. Um, I think it's a fantastic opportunity. It's such a wonderful. It can also breathe new life into your studies and whatnot. I mean, like I went to New Zealand. Obviously, they speak English there, but encountering with the Maori culture, and then looking at like the geopolitics and the relationship with Australia and Great Britain and whatnot, I can't help but constantly think about that experience. So definitely wonderful time if you can study abroad. You're just applying to as many colleges as possible. Okay, I see. And then there are some countries you don't want to live in, even if it's temporary. Yeah, that's perfectly fine too. I think the experience is what's incredibly transformative, or it has a potential to be transformative when you look at it as a opportunity. For sure. No, I think it breathed a lot of life into me. Like New Zealand was very interesting. Despite not like encountering, I did hear a bunch of the Maori language. I think it's just called Maori actually, or referred to in English. It's the Maori language and the Maori people. You do hear a bit of that, especially if you ever saw a depiction of the haka from the All Blacks in New Zealand during rugby. You have enough Eastern European friends to know one thing: stay away from Eastern Europe. That's understandable. Geopolitics is a bit tense right now. For sure. The haka, yeah, hakas are. It's so empowering. Like, I'm not a sports person, not very a sports person. But before I went to New Zealand, I did taekwondo, and taekwondo. At first, you have those things like when you go ha, right? Like when you're pushing air and committing to an action and whatnot, it can feel detached when you're not doing it. But then when you're like committed to it, it becomes very empowering. And then before then, I already did taekwondo for like 2.5 years. When I went there and I saw like them performing the haka, it's like such a visceral thing. So we had an opportunity to meet the All Blacks. I don't know if they changed their name or not, but they're the New Zealand national team that are like one of the best. And we were able to go to the field where they practice, and a lot of their team just performed it for us, and that was pretty cool. Like it was very neat. Seeing the haka firsthand. So it was just us chilling on like the bleachers. We were just sitting there and watching them perform. And then we saw another haka being performed in a what is it? It's like a recreation or conservation tourist. It's kind of like a touristy thing, but it's a conservation like reenactment of village life, the Maori culture's village life, and they performed the haka there too with like your occasional fanfare for tourists and foreigners, throwing some torches around and stuff. It's very, and since they're of nature related to like Samoans and whatnot, you can also find similar like crossovers between things that you would see in Hawaii, like when it comes to Pacific Islanders. But Hakka is very powerful. Like when they're all like in sync and they're excelling, when they're excelling through their mouth and stuff, you kind of just like feel it. It's deafening, and the stomping and the percussion using the body to create resonance, kind of neat. It's very intimidating. I mean, that's kind of the point. They perform it to like energize and invigorate themselves, make a statement, and ready for the competition, right? The rugby game, which I basically knew little to nothing about rugby until I went to New Zealand and watched a rugby game. So I knew little to nothing about it, and I knew little to nothing about Hakka. Really neat. You know what's funny? You read One Piece. Yeah, yesterday you mentioned that you read One Piece. The Hakka Islands, Hakka, and then it also Ryu, right? The Japanese form. Or I'm surprised that I caught up with the One Piece anime, but I still have yet to see Chi, right? They haven't introduced Ki yet. Ki or Chi in but man, One Piece is wrapping around over and over again. The most recent arc was fantastic because it dealt with a topic that I really enjoy, which is Japan's isolationism and then the encroachment of westernized globalization. So in a way, it's kind of great that they kind of integrated it into sailing and island nations. So I ended the Wano chapter, right? Largely the most, it's one arc before that, but one of the biggest chapters in One Piece is Wano, the island of Wano, which was supposed to be symbolically representing the Japanese isolation period and its feudal times. And they integrated it with the coming of age of opening the border and so, or the question of opening the border and whatnot. So it was very neat. And then whenever they're talking about like powers, like Hakka, they're actually quite referring to Pacific Islands' perception of energy, and then there's Qi from the Chinese side of things, which hasn't been thrown in there a little bit. They already did like Spanish stuff, right? And they already did French stuff. And then most recently is Ryu. I forgot what they refer to it, but it's a Japanese form of the energy thing. So it's really neat. I think that is what being exposed to different cultures make you want to see in things. I think One Piece was fantastic. I'm not sure if you read Gintama yet. Gintama is another like, and it ended recently. So Gintama, I'm gonna tackle. I mean, One Piece has so many periodic things, period pieces. Now Gintama also is one of those things. So I can't wait to. I don't know if Gintama has multiple language tracks or not. But yeah. Oh, here's a random unrelated topic, sort of, but it's related to language learning. I did find out that Death Stranding, a little bit ago, someone, I was talking about Western and Eastern developers, like video game developers. I'm not sure if you're super interested into video games or if you have time for video games. It's very understandable. But in terms of language learning, I've been looking for like other languages, right? And someone, Procol, was a little bit surprised or was inquiring why I think Kojima Kojima Studios is a bit more westernized in its appeal because of the way the design language and stuff that they have, and then what they cater. I recently found out that the game Death Stranding is translated in 7 different languages, and that's pretty neat. That also means there's a chance I could play Kojima games, like games from Kojima Studios, in multiple languages, and I think that's kind of neat. It will be very complicated language, and we're all gonna laugh about how, or at least I'm gonna have a blast laughing about all the vocabulary that I don't know, because Kojima is an eccentric. But I think that that is a really neat way to experience language if you pick up a sci-fi thing. The other choice I have now, it seems like sci-fi is the one that gets translated. It's CD Projekt Red's game. So Cyberpunk 2077 is translated in like 8 different languages. I don't imagine that this will change for like Witcher and stuff. I can't wait to see how Japanese and Chinese is translated for Western sci-fi. Anyways, thought I'd share a little bit more. Yeah. Thank you for entertaining or humoring me. Western Europe. I would love to know your college thing in the future. College, huh? It warm. Without saying too much, it warms my heart that I still feel that there are people who spend their time on the internet or learn things that find that going to college is something they can learn something from, like obtain value from. It's not a very common sentiment anymore. In fact, one of my closest friends from the internet, like a longtime friend now, over 5 years, we talk about education quite a bit, but he is not one. He is very much a representative of the current generation of people who believe that knowledge is simply sufficient, as opposed to being directly in contact with other people who are also very knowledgeable. I would say, in a long TLDR, there's not a great substitute in this day and age, despite AI and all the technologies. There's not a great substitute for opportunities to be around other human beings that also may excel with the same knowledge base. I think living life not being around people who consistently also strive to acquire wisdom and knowledge, like giving up those opportunities can very much close one's cage someone's mind in, and that cage can be small enough to make life very conventional and uninteresting or disinteresting. And for me, I like to believe that being friends with someone who doesn't like to do these things, I like to believe that I am hoping to inspire or share some of these things in which that they become inspired to do so as well. Learning a language is arguably overrated for that, but at the same time, like nowadays, but I still love the idea that it's overrepresented, in the sense that learning a new language opens up opportunities. It gives, and what I don't mean by opportunities in terms of financial gain or business, I'm talking about self interest, and interest in others. Sometimes it might not be a direct cause of success or like application. However, being ever inquisitive is kind of the goated for being human. So I think giving up intellectual curiosity is like suggesting that you don't want to be human anymore. Like you prefer to be a robot that's doing mundane tasks all the time and be okay with it. So college, it's great. It's great to hear people still willing to take the opportunities despite a lot of pushback. Yeah. You strike me as someone who will most definitely find something of value. All right. Thank you for sharing. By the way. So what the heck is clan in Chinese?
种族、
种族. Oh, I didn't look up what that is or why I think it's
冒
Mao.
险、
What was Mao's thing? Mao. Oh, it was the veil. The veil. Right, he's getting ready to steal some milk for Princess Peach. Right. Okay. Adventure. I watched this guy. On my YouTube short feed, this guy came up again. I think his name is Vin. His last name is Vin or something. Way back, I saw that his channel was starting and he focuses on communication. He's a communication specialist and then like other things. Apparently he does magic and for fun, right? And he's a part entrepreneur and whatnot, but his main focus is communication. And he started this channel, and I really like. He is a far more elegant person in reductively expressing a lot of the things I spent hours trying to hit, but his is far more elegant. He's like a public speaker and whatnot, and recently he popped up on my algorithm again, and now his channel was like 10 times, almost 100 times bigger than it once was. And then magnitude doesn't really illustrate this. It was like around 100k subscribers back then, and now it's like 3.2 million. And it was very humbling to see that there is someone who focuses on communication that is able to conform and or leverage YouTube algorithm for emphasizing. He only speaks one language, by the way. Actually, I'm not too sure if he speaks another. He might speak Vietnamese, actually. Now I'm kind of curious if he speaks other languages, but he focuses most of his things on English. And he had this little short. And I love his little shorts because it summarizes a lot of things that I try to inculcate. And one of the recent YouTube shorts that came up on my feed, I mean, the algorithm is probably listening. So YouTube is feeding me things that I want to hear. Keep that in mind. But it was a short. It was about 30 seconds, right? 30 seconds short. And he was on stage talking to someone. And he said that one of the most efficacious or consistent, let's say consistent way of influencing someone is to do it yourself and then demonstrate. And when people witness it, they are more likely to be inspired and or encouraged to do so themselves. And I've said this in a less elegant way using anecdotes like for 4 hours straight most of the time. So this person that, like, for my friend, this goober that I know for over 5 years, he's over nearly 2 decades younger than me. Um, Instead of telling this person that learning Japanese may be a wonderful way for him to continue to appreciate and evolve and expand his appreciation for his normal daily ritual of watching anime, I simply demonstrated what I did and talked about Japanese in a manner that was very empathetic or stylistically appropriate to generate enthusiasm from the person. And now, this past weekend, we decided to make a pact in which I introduce on a daily basis phrases and or things that may come up frequently in an anime and share with him. And he now on his own naturally are listening and trying to attempt to learn some Japanese intentively by actively listening. And that is what I mean by echoing a lot of time-tested things. And I really like that guy that knows someone like that with 3 million subscribers doing that in a form factor that is more appropriate for the YouTube audience, because I genuinely do not expect people willing to sit for a 5-hour seminar versus like by default versus 30-second very well explained. It's actually a clip of one of his talks, so it's a much smaller format, but he has a way of stacking TLDRs back to back to back, and it does quite show that he practices what he preaches. For myself, I don't preach for reductive, like attempting to shorten things. I tend to keep pushing the boundaries of how the verbosity of my responses. I think for me is an exercise in diminished return, of course. However, it's the legacy I want to leave behind. So whenever someone asks a question, if they stay enough times, they will know. At least I will make it very clear by example, by demonstration, that if you ask a question, make sure to have a cup of coffee or a drink nearby, right? And be ready for a longer ride than you might want to expect. However, for any other types, I genuinely think there are people like him that I really get humbled because they make it work. And I love YouTube has a way, right? The internet often has a way to give you enough affirmation to constantly consume more content. So I do know for every one person who does that, focus on communication skills, there are probably far more statistically likely people who would believe that communication is secondary to merit and skill, like merit to. Oftentimes, communication is seen as a skill that is lateral to many other skills. This person and myself, by coincidence, I don't actually know this person. Actually, I'm not. I even imagine I live stream and or post it to YouTube longer than this person. This person was a professional in other ways before this. So was I, by coincidence. And I like to think that I might actually be older than this person, but that's a weird way to say it, because when I see this person, I see someone who has spent timeless hours working on communication skills, and I align with him in the idea that while it's incredibly awesome to be incredibly skilled, he also took something and said it much more elegantly, where if you have a lot of skills and knowledge, you have great potential and you are very, very skilled and you know a lot of things. But if your communication skills is here, right? Who do you think oftentimes, like, what do you think this is perceived as? Is your skill going to be here or here? If your communication skills is lower, typically The idea is it's limited by your ability to express things or to demonstrate things. Oftentimes, if you have skills, you can try to demonstrate them, but demonstrating them also allows you to raise your communication skills. And that is one thing that I feel gets lost when I emphasize communication. Communication isn't necessarily simply a demonstration of words. There's also nonverbal communication, and that's the ability to demonstrate something for the sole purpose of demonstration as opposed to productivity. So I like to believe that one day all this like weird discussion tossing around Chinese and Japanese and people teaching me languages that I have no idea what's going on and then talking about cultures. I believe that's a way of open demonstration and practicing expression that complements or supplements your proficiency in a language. Because I've used the same example, the same relative principle of this guy, only I use language as an example nowadays. If you are incredibly well versed, like JLPT +1, you learn all the kanji, you know what native people sound like. In the end of the day, right, we also have to keep in mind, not that it's equally or more important or not, it's part of the whole process. So if your communication skills are still lacking, trying to think of clever ways to demonstrate to other people how much you know or your interest in a language can, in my opinion, indirectly raise your communication skills. And that is my plug for learning another language. When you're learning another language, it brings into the context of interacting with another person or interacting with another culture, which are represented by other human beings. And oftentimes, when it comes to language success, it's very abysmal, actually. I looked up like various, like yesterday I was looking about converging data, collecting converging data on the success rate of a secondary language acquisition. It's quite abysmal. But the silver lining here is there are really wonderful coincidences and corollary behavior for those who are successful. So we're talking about like 10%. But of those 10%, nearly all of that 10% are individuals who continue to be intellectually curious, despite their overall proficiencies. Like, you could be an A student, you could be a C student, you could be someone who has a PhD, you can be someone who wants to go to college, tried college, didn't work for them. The idea is a lot of converging evidence which suggests that it takes someone who is impressionably incentivized to want to interact in an intellectual environment with other people that ends up characterizing. This is corollary, of course, but the coincidences is that people who tend to be able to speak and communicate about various topics, regardless of the language barrier or not, are also parallel with that much smaller percentage of people who are successful at acquiring another language. And to me, I am suggesting that it can be the other way around too. Someone who ends up tackling the problem or the obstacle or the joys and roadblocks of learning another language inherently also ends up having to naturally encounter many things that deal with the sphere of communication. And that communication, in my opinion, can lead to many downstream opportunities. And one of them is finding solutions from people you didn't even know you could find solutions from, and being inspired and to do things that you may not otherwise have thought of, because sometimes the things you tackle are not sufficiently outside of your comfort zone and or open opportunity to interact with other human beings. I earnestly, as a TLDR, I earnestly believe one of the bottom lines of success in any way, we're talking about independent of people's context, it requires other humans. And having at least a hobby and or a particular inclination for delving into a skill that inherently obligates you to interact with another human being is not sufficient for success alone, but it can greatly increase the opportunities and success in it. So what does that look like? Making a video game that you have to encounter human interaction to make a successful video game, right? You focus on video game entertainment, the arts, language learning. So if someone is walking around being a goober in the corner and they're being like antisocial and saying they're introverted and stuff, to me, I would say, can I get clever enough to get this person to turn one of their hobbies or the things that the inclination that would eventually bring up the task of interacting with another human being, like in some way, in some small way. And to me, that's a really wonderful, consistent way of slowly nudging someone. And I just engage in the activity, so I become the human source. And if I can do that, I think that's what streaming does, in my opinion. And whether someone doesn't process it or not, having someone witness it makes it all that more, and sharing that journey is electric, at least to those who are receptive. And then if you have enough of that, you don't have to worry about AI. I mean, right now I keep getting asked about AI, like people are worried that it would supplant humans and stuff like that. For sure, those are concerns. But when you get to a point where, at least in my perspective, when you realize, at least by either coincidence and or maybe you trust me, knowing that you can have the ability to collaborate with other human beings kind of adores, or being human in general, celebrating curiosity and inquisition through language learning and creativity. You're not worried about that at all, because it's something else. It's not human. Now, the last thing I probably say is it can be equally as scary when you don't have that, right? What is the threat to your humanity if you do not embrace your humanity? Anything that is not human, anything that does not have an ability. Like when you think of learning Japanese and acquiring Japanese, you have acquired the ability to gain access to more humans, especially humans of different culture. That is incredibly empowering, because the ultimate resource, at least in my opinion, on this planet right now, when it comes to creative things that other humans consume, are other human beings. So, language is a great vehicle. Sorry, I had to plug it a little bit. I have to plug language learning. I know that some people make competitions. It's like, well, language is overrated. Language learning is overrated. You could have made a video game. It's like, do both. Do both. Make a video game about Japanese culture. Both. You don't have to pick. Be greedy. At least that's one of the human tendencies. Be greedy. If you're arguing about what to do better, come up with a creative way to do both. Go play a Japanese video game, right? And someone else said video games were boring yesterday, so I had to throw that in a little bit. All right. Back to blood pressure. That's literally blood and pressure. So, 血压 血压，血压，低血压，
低血压，
低血压。Wow, that's a little weird. The way this person went up a little.
血压，
血压，self-explanatory.
危险，
危险 self-explanatory. Danger, dangerous, dangerous. 这个世界是一个危险的地方 ，yeah， 地方 place。这个世界是个危险的地方。你那条路很危险。
危险，
危险啊！等一下，危险。
贵族，
贵族 expensive clan or high esteem clan, so noble. Did I add extra things to this? I'm not sure if I did. Oh yeah, hierarchy, nobility, status, formal, yeah. 贵族 formal high nobility clan, so nobles, aristocrats. 贵族们站在城 something castle. That's no shiro. I don't think. 城堡里贵族们住在 oh no 站在住在城堡里。城堡 or castle. Ain't no shiro. ね贵族 oh 贵族
贵
yes
族，
贵族
交警，
交警 yeah, so the mingle thing, it's also intersection a lot of times where cars mingle. Same thing with Japanese. The pivot on mingling or mixing. 交警 traffic police. Are police that make sure that the traffic mingles in an orderly fashion without any accidents or speeding. 交警交警指 something. Oh wait. Car crown finger. No, I don't think so. Maybe it's direct. 直观 no, that makes sense. 交警交通 oh wait, 交通 might be, oh my gosh, it's traffic. Oh, 交通 交通 is closer to the Japanese though, or traffic. 交通指挥 interesting. 指挥 so like 执行 or like 执行执过 correct. 交警 and 交通 are traffic. Okay. 交警给了我一张ticket. I see 当 but I forgot what this type of ticket is. 罚单 Yeah, it's more like 罚单 sounds more like a punished ticket, like a fee ticket, but it doesn't use 费, which 费 often gives more of a payment, like you're paying for something that you want, and then 罚单 sounds more like something unexpected, like something not gnarly, like a citation gnarly. A traffic ticket gave me a ticket. I mean, the traffic police. The traffic. Yeah, it's a traffic ticket. Hmm. Oh. That's a little weak one, huh? What is it? Salute? 较劲. No. Wait. Salute? Word? 较劲. What?
交警
Is it basement? Oh yeah, it is basement. Because he was trying to sneak in to rescue the robo doggy. Doggo. 较劲. Okay.
约会
约会. I totally misspelled something there. 约会. Promise, promise to go, promise to meet, a date. Yeah, or appointment again. 约会. Does yakai doesn't sound like something that would fly. Yakai. 约会. 我们约会去看电影. 昨班. Wait, sorry, Japanese. That's not it. 昨晚. Oh no. Yeah. 昨晚的约会. 非常 enjoyable. 非常 something 了. 快乐. 愉快. Oh no, it's not 了. It's 快 in this one. Okay, wait. You? Do I know you? 愉快. Storehouse and Spirit. Yoshi. No, Yu-Gi-Oh. No, I don't think so. Yugi. No, not Yugi.
约会
约会. Okay. 写 balls. 血压.
血压
血压. 血压.
约会
约会.
交警
危险.
危险
危险. 那险. 危险. Yes. 贵.
贵族
贵族.
压力
压力. Pressure. Yeah. Like stress, pressure. 压力. 外界压力. Outside world or outside? Interesting. 外界压力. This one's fine.
压力
压力. Oh. I think we can add pressure. I mean stress. Stress is another way for 压力。
保险、
保险 insurance. Protect from danger? Sure. Insurance, insure. Oh, this one is very specific. 保险。我们提 something. Maybe that's E. Let's no. I don't think I have anything for that. 我们提 something. 各种不同不同的类 something 的保险。我们提供still 供 OK， 我们提供各种did I say 各种 I think I said 各种不同类型的保险。Our offer apparently our offer types, various types, different types. 类型 like is 类型 is that also types? 不同的不同类型 okay, must be dealing with a compound type of insurance. Interesting.
保险、
保险
警车、
警车 police car, literally police car. 警车站在追捕 is that 捕 not quite, but we're just gonna assume it. 追捕 turtle. No, we got nothing on fugitive. 逃放追捕警车站在追捕逃犯逃犯 fugitive. 逃犯逃 kind of reminds me of like to sneak away, right? Or steal, or to sneak away, sneaky. Not quite sure. 逃犯追捕 interesting. 追捕 pretty sure that's the same 捕 so you're patching a chase. Okay. Oops.
警车、力、
Alright, time for the characters. Ooh, 2 components. Li. Oh, 美丽 in like beautiful. 美丽 Okay. We got a deer. That is a deer. Pretty sure this is the same component for deer. Japanese. If not all of deer. There might be a radical to the left of this. Deer is weird. No, yeah. This is yeah. Wait. I feel like there's a radical to. But this is vanilla, so I'm likely to believe this is still Japanese. Married couple. Interesting. Wait. Why does this look like... Oh no, Peng is 2 moons. Interesting, married couple. Imagine an ancient wedding ceremony where the soon-to-be married couple must wear a hood, okay, until it's complete. When they finally become a married couple, they can finally drop the hood onto the ground. All right, I got you. I got you. In fact, that's how I remember Peng. Peng is 2 moons and its companion. You have 2 moons. One is a companion for the other. So married couple kind of follows suit, really. We'll just type couple.
立
Li. So we have a beautiful or a couple of deer. A couple of beautiful deer. Link is in the bathroom of the house, okay, taking a nice bath. All right, sure. The door opens and a beautiful deer comes in. I mean, actually that kind of checks out in a Legend of Zelda game. Carrying a beautiful married couple on his back. Okay, that's kind of weird. They exchange greetings before departing once more. Link thinks to himself that today is a very beautiful day. Honestly, I think just thinking about a couple, deer, like a talking deer, like a deer couple, that might be okay too. Okay. There's not much of Link in this, huh? Other than a whimsical, maybe we could say like an elf couple that's being carried by a deer. Maybe Link's parents. Actually, I don't even know if Link has parents, like as part of Link's background or lore. Pretty sure he's orphaned for whatever reason. I'm thinking back to like the first Legend of Zelda game. He just washed up. You know, he's just, what I mean is he's not like washed up as in retired or something. I mean like he washed up on the shore a lot of times. It's just straight up wash up on the shore. Literally washed up on the shore. Link is in the bath. Okay, so we're just gonna think of it like elvish stuff, right? Elvish stuff. That's fine. Beautiful deer, stags. Stags are very fantasy. Yeah. 美丽美丽亮丽亮丽 bright and beautiful 秀丽 I don't know what show is it. Gorgeous. Young Li. That kind of looks like plentiful. Maybe like it's plenty beautiful. Gorgeous. Qiao Li. Everything's beautiful. It's pretty.
立
All right. That's fine. That looks like deer already from Japanese.
警车
车
立
Oh, no.
压力
压力
保险
I talk about what is it? 保险 is using in Fujonese is using a different, I think he even uses a different tone. What is it? 保险 保营 保营 is 保险. I don't know if there is a 保营 in 保烟. Yeah, 保烟. It sounds like it could be in Mandarin. 保烟, what would 保烟 be? 保烟 保营. What was this? 保险. 保烟 would be insurance. I have to talk about insurance a lot with parents. Insurance. Ying. Yep. Gotta love to win. Ying is a classic one. How many strokes is this? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. It's like meh. What is that? Five radicals. It's okay. Ying. What did Katsu look like? Oh yeah, that's right. Katsu is moon, dress, and then arm or power, as opposed to Ying. I think this is a bit of a step up, I suppose, relatively speaking, when it comes to Katsu. Yoshi is inside the English Manor, where he is playing a game against death. It is him and a it is him and a shellfish against death. Okay. And taking and a talking mouth. Okay, so he's got a mouth, a shellfish. Oh, death's got a talking mouth. Okay, alright, got you. The aim of the game is to try to keep the moon out of the hands of the other time as long as possible. Hands of the other time? Yoshi and the shellfish tossed it back and forth until the clock runs out. No clock. Therefore, they win. Because they win, they get a bunch of pills that they hope to sell on the black market for their price. But what? What's happening here? That's fine. Ying. Ying is Ying. That's a really common character. So, and a really common sound dealing in a very particular context. I won't really need it. Ying de. Ying de. Oh, Shuang Ying. Win-win. Okay.
赢总
Zong. Oh, hey, we finally got Zong. Overall, Zong. Oh, okay. Zelda ones are rough too. I think Link ones are kind of okay. You know, I should... Oh no, but then it'll overlap with... So Link overlaps with Legolas because they're both heckin' elves. And then Zelda is just left alone. But if we put Zelda with like princess stuff, then it overlaps with like Peach stuff. And Peach stuff overlaps with Martin. You know what? This stuff just goes too deep. Alright. Zelda Zong. Zong is in the... Okay, Zelda is in the basement of the temple, sure, where she has been locked up by the monks. Princess stuff. She decided to take this opportunity to improve her overall health. She lies on a silk cloth next to the Buddhist relics that's on top of the rock floor and plays a holy... That's a radio? Oh yeah, that is a radio. Radio to improve her overall psychological state. Then she snacks on a... Oh, that's supposed to be a cornstalk. Tilted. See, on a cornstalk and some hearts. Wait, she's snacking on cornstalk and some hearts? Checks out. To improve her overall physical health. Overall, she feels pretty good despite being locked up in the temple basement. Man, the bigger the like character gets, the more things is added to the mnemonic because of... And I think maybe I should start embracing that for Wanikani as well. I think the more complicated the character is, the less I have to try to remember it. It's kind of it's not really counterintuitive to me. I think it's actually the case for people because you have a lot of details to hang on to. But yeah, mnemonics work fantastic the more complicated the character is. You decide to take this opportunity to improve overall health. Wise, right? Nom nom nom. Radio. It's basically doing yoga. I could see Zelda totally being a yoga person. Zhongshu. Total number, overall number, total. Gotcha. 总结 tie overall tie summary. Okay, tie it all together. 总统 oh hey yeah 总统总统总统 is how my parents say president in Fujianese. 总统 is the classic one. 总统 for me, but obviously there are other ways to say president, probably for different types of president. We already had like ways to say a leader, a head of something, a founder. 总裁 I don't know what 裁 is. Interesting. And then, right. Ooh. Wait. What? Wealth? Or saber wealth? Oh, you know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of politics as well. Oh, okay. Anyways. 副总统 Gotta make sure I don't say 总统, which is not how you say that.
总
Oh, it's not president. It's overall.
查
Cha. To examine. Oh, it's not investigate, right? Cha is investigate. How does it relate to investigate? No, it's very different. Very different. Charlie Brown is inside the lobby of the auditorium, playing with his dollhouse. Of course, Charlie Brown would be playing with his dollhouse. He examines it and discovers it has no dolls. So instead, he uses sticks of incense to play with it. Wow, that's kind of depressing. That's kind of on brand. Some people stand by examining Charlie, wondering why the sad kid uses incense as dolls. Rip. Scrutinize. So I have an inspect, scrutinize, criticize, examine, look at, review, revise, and multiple versions of all of them. So now I'm not quite sure which one I'm thinking of. There is one that is closer to it. I don't remember. Oof, so many overlaps. They're so nebulous at the moment. Oh, here's investigation of all things. Using Kao Cha. Test and exam. All of these are gonna blur together without sentences. Charge the feeling to examine, but feel to detect. And then yeah, 警察 or police. Ugh.
查
Incense and dollhouse is all that is there, huh? Okay. All right, we're fine. I guess the auditorium goers. Oh, maybe at least doing the performing. That's kind of weird. Maybe a talent show. Oh, that's a sad talent show. All right, I think we're good. Wait. Yeah.
验
Yen to check. Oh. Oh no, it's not. I'm thinking of 海关. No, no. 眼茶 or something. Yeah, I'm thinking of 眼茶. They're combined. Yeah, this is examine as well. So 眼茶 is definitely one, I think. Yoshi is in the bathroom of the pawn shop where there is a horse party. Alright, lay it on me. The bathroom is so small that it only fits one horse. Yoshi checks that the horse is having a good time. Probably not. It seems like a lame party. Yoshi checks the time to see how much longer this will last before sitting on an egg waiting. So they pigeonholed the egg sitting. Alright. Horse, too big for the pawn shop party, huh? A horse party. I mean, it fits. Yoshi, you just turn everything into monster or turn into aminals doing things. Checks. I think checks could get lost in it though. Okay. To experience. 经验. Pass through check. Experience. 实验. 实验 true check. Okay, autopsy. Oh no, I'm not feeling this one. 验尸, like I'm not feeling check for this. Well, experiment is okay. Right? True check. So you're experimenting too. Okay. Experience, I guess. Pass through as in previous experiences. So like you're checking on previous experience and check on it. Get experience, or like pass through and check on it. You get experience. Yeah, okay. And then this is to check death, autopsy. That actually checked. This one is quite good.
验
Yeah. Okay. Ah! I don't want to talk about it.
验 茶
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
总
Mm-hmm.
赢
Mm-hmm. All right, time to lock in. It's okay, let's lock in.
地球
地球绕着太阳转，
信用卡
我可以用信用卡吗？
亮点
这新手机的亮点是
Uh-oh.
体积
计算房屋的体积，
人人 高兴
我很高兴你能来。
读 邮箱
检查邮箱，
衬衫
这件衬衫的后身太长了。
Oh no, that's a weak one. Okay, got it.
演唱会，
那场演唱会非常精彩。
非法，
非法活动，
衬衣，
可机洗的衬衣，
Okay. Hmm.
心脏，
他的心脏停止了跳动。
交换，
交换意见，
Oh boy. Oh no. Oh no. Wait, hold up.
景，
Oh no, not Japanese. Don't do it. Don't do. I'm stuck. It's gone. We just got that in the right character in Japanese. Oh wait, I could link them together though.
字典，
在字典里查一个字，
This is actually the same definition. Character dictionary. 字典。
一再，
他一再拒绝我们的邀请。
Or repeat it right here.
静，浓，主要，
主要任务，
Or I guess, or like must have. I guess must works. Yeah, or important. Important. That's good too. What am I looking at? Wait.
书，
Oh no. I sort of forgot this yesterday. And then now. Ah. Oh. Okay, we're fine.
破，飘，
I can't spell. I can't spell. Oh, okay. That's how you spell it.
邮票，
这是一张旧邮票。
What? Oh, I screwed up.
搬运，
他们正在搬运家具到新公寓里。
Double transport.
山，为，
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
拿到，
他拿到了证书。
层，
Okay. Oh my, what was that? What did I write there? Okay, maybe like a main. Okay, that's fine.
Zhi.
Oh. Woo! Oh, wait. Hold up. Oh, I missed the end.
广场。
时代广场位于纽约市。
外界。
和外界隔绝。
What am I looking at? No, that's not it. Okay. Why do I just want to... YOLO? YOLO. It's not. Oh.
追查。
追查车祸原因。
What? Maybe investigate is good. Undertake? Oh, I typed the wrong. Oh, that's fine. You like chase after? Oh, her pursue is good. It's to investigate. Yeah, that's fine. We're fine. We'll be fine. Oh, What is that? I think this is about the only time I used it too. Maybe like I wanna let's do jerk reflex. That's not it. that's
马上。
请马上让我知道。
邮件。
电子邮件。
What is that? What are you? Can I just go straight to... Oh, okay. That makes sense. Oh, come on. Wait. Hold up. Oh, that's like a puppet or something, right?
消失。
这些问题不会自行消失的。
Lose, disappear. Eliminate. Okay.
降。
This is a puppet.
Xiang.
That's just good. We're purely gut feeling so far. Maybe a couple slowdowns here and there.
支持，
我完全支持这个建议。
支持，
瞧，记，
that kind of fit.
住，明年，
你明年几岁？
Oh, that's a necklace. Fine. Necklace, pendant. Pendant is part of necklace.
感情，
你要理解他的感情。
请进，
Wait, what's going on? What? Oh,
讲师，
我听不到讲师。
so what happened here? This one's... Oh, like...
多
Yeah,
云，
今天多云。
I missed the N. So what happened here? We gotta push. I have no idea.
大概，
大概下午5点。
追求，
追求知识，
I can't spell I spell pursue so wrong. Sorry. English things, it's fine.
把握，
把握自己的命运。
Or C's, yeah. Necklace. What? Wait, what? Oh. Wait. Is this not? Oh, it's not. How am I messing it up? What? Probably you. Oh, I guess it's. Really? Huh.
教室，
我在教室里学习。
Really? Or did I mess up the other thing? No.
记录，
护士把病人的体温记录下来。
Oh, I was pronouncing it different. I was pronouncing it incorrectly in my head. Ilu. Oh, because it's not Li, that's Lu. Okay. That's not thread on the left. I was paying attention to the right too much. Tilu.
去，
What am I looking at? Oh no, wait. I got it. I got it. Alright.
宣布，
政府宣布进入紧急状态。
致，直升机，
这架直升机很大。
That's not it. Oh, this is. Oh no, they are really. Okay, hold up. Oh, it's not. I meant to type begin, not being.
切片，
土豆切片后用油炸。
领，
I still don't know what I'm looking at. I think we're gonna have to block this one out, right? I feel like let's do like this. Okay. Oh, we're gonna block this one out. Done? How does done work? Oh yeah, it's the Zelda thing. I try to weave done into da za and the, but that just doesn't work. Huh. How did the done work? Mouth, head. Oh, what is Zelda? Let's create some. What is Zelda doing in the? I guess Zelda's trying to negotiate a problem with heads and mouths. Ugh. Yeah, that one's not great.
还， 握手，
握手表示感激。
I don't know what will show. A helicopter.
创新，
我们必须创新。
What am I looking at? What?
"录音，
那段讲话的录音。
It is a sound recorder, but it records things.
咱们
I don't
咱
know
们
what
喝一杯。
咱们 How do we down? Alright, there's an annoying mouth and a nose. Oh, it's a nose. Well, the nose doesn't come in as a group and won't leave. Yeah. Just dealing with the disgruntled peeps. That's what I got as well. It's fine. 1 minute. How does this work? It's not literal. Right? I don't know, like... Oh, it is. I swear I wrote... Did I not write shake hands? I could have sworn I wrote shake hands. What did I... Oh no. I don't know what I wrote first time. Oh, it doesn't change what I think it was. Huh. I don't know what I wrote now. Shaking hands. Did I write shaking hands and it didn't count? Oh, what's that? Oh no, that's wah. Wah. Huh. Oh, that's wait, I figured out what this was. And it's gone. Oh, I think it's or begin or maybe not. I don't know. I thought that was shake hands. That's the start. I have no idea what I typed though.
Ning.
How do you do a... Okay.
正
Why do I want to just... Yeah.
强烈
他强烈的否认了指控。
强烈. Oh no, I'm drawing a blank on Leia. Oh, like strongly, I guess. Happened here. No idea. Oh, wait. No, I have no idea. Oh, is this gonna be another block? I think this is gonna be another block. Do I have a guess? I think the Slender Man thing is what's making me Oh. No. Maybe it's the gate that's throwing me off. Yeah, this is a block. I did type. Oh, I might have typed B instead of Bing. I might have typed B instead of Bing. It's what I think it is. But I must have typed B. Oops. Not it. This is continue, so I don't know how you interpret that. I thought this was it's not. Somehow I knew it was G. Era? I knew this was G, right? Era, oh, the snake era. This is gonna be blocked. There's nothing to it other than needing examples. I don't think era is gonna help unless I have some other thing. I think that's an exception. Ooh.
赶忙，
他赶忙穿上外套就出门了。
Oops, that's not how you spell that.
病，
That's a weak one too.
救护车，
他工作时开救护车。
Oh. What happened here? Something's wrong with the left? I'm drawing a... Oh, I'm drawing a blank. Why? Okay, hold up. If I want to type that, no, that's not it. I shouldn't be having a problem with this one. But looking at that character closely, that's made things more complicated. We're just gonna do a block on this. Okay, that's fine. It's one of those. Of a block, I don't want to move it.
据说
据说他很聪明，
庆祝
庆祝国庆，
谈话
请不要打断我们的谈话。
烈酒
大家都喝了不少烈酒，
继而
他先是停下来思考，继而做出了决定。
I like and so then yeah. Or so then.
"证据
法庭需要更多的证据。
成设碗筷
把碗筷摆好，
挂
Okay.
类似
类似情况。
Oh, what? Oh, yeah.
命运
命运有时候是无法预测的。
解决
这个问题我已经解决了。
明显
很明显他在撒谎。
预报
气象预报明天有雪。
同类
他们是同类。
人类
全人类都住在地球。
血管
他的血管破裂了。
That's how you spell vessel. Ah, dang it! I hit the wrong button there.
规定，
请遵守游戏规定。
预计，
他预计明天会到达。
Forehand. Kind of like plan. What are you going for?
低调，
他是个低调的人。
环境，
我们必须保护环境。
利， 显眼，
他戴着一顶显眼的大红帽子。
Obvious to the eyes, like obvious, clear, obviously. Conspicuous. Oh, showy. Oh, okay, yeah. Obvious to the eye. Oh, yeah, that's. I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep getting conspicuous though. Oh, what is that? Earthworm? No.
钝，声调，
这个字是什么声调？
Not cool. That's not cool.
性， 容，
expect? Okay, fine. I used my gut and it failed.
序，
Hold. Dang it! Pulled the trigger too soon.
入境，
入境时请排队。
另类，
她是一个另类的女孩。
What is this? Why do I want to? Ah, man. I have such a block. Oh.
恐怕，
恐怕是
I went for it. Thought it was. Oh, it's Xian.
失望，
失望的消息让他难过。
Right?
线，
What was it? Insp-
意，你呢？
每月2次，你呢？
玉，京剧，
我喜欢看京剧表演。
排，
Oh, I hit the wrong. Sorry. Sorry.
广播，
我每天晚上听新闻广播。
理解，
你要理解他的感情。
各种各样，
他有各种各样的想法。
是，
What? Oh. 姜? Wait, a spike and words. Oh, ding. Ding Wei. What am I doing? Ding Wei. Uh,
浪，
Oh. Whoops. It's fine. It's banned.
乐团。定位。
我今天打电话给餐厅定位。
What happened here? Oh, wait.
精彩。
他的发言很精彩。
Oh my gosh. There's some rough ones. Okay. Zhang is the worst. I think Zhang is the worst. And I think that's my only Zhang. Zhangmin. Yeah, and it's I think it's the only thing too. Yeah. That's just gonna have to be reinforced with context. Context sentences. Dunman. And then there was one other, right? I just blocked for some time. It was Qing. Qing was just lost all of a sudden. So many Qings, so fine. Even like Qingming. Even Qing is to celebrate. Okay. What time is it? 11:13 p.m. All right. Let's do these. I got one last thing to do. Okay. I took a quick bathroom break though. All right. Let's look. So, oh, and I gotta make sure I don't mess up deer with Qing. Qing and deer, I do deary. Although Yi looks not Qing. All right. So deer couple. Yeah, Yi. Oh no, not Yi. Li. Li. The horse party. Oh, who? Oh, this is Yan. Cha. Oh no, these are kind of rough. Dong. Ying. Yeah. Oh. Outing. Yo, yeah. Wait. Excellent pass? Excellent pass is good? Superior? Oh no. Yo, yeah, it might be a problem. Yeah. Zhong Zhu. Mao Xian. Xie Li. No, not Xie Li. Xie Ya. Xie Ya. Ye Hui. Jiao Ji. Wait, hold up. Jiao. Oh yeah, Jiao Ji. That's fine. Wei Xian. Wei Xian. Wei Xian. Wei Xian. Dong Xiang Xian. Wei Xian. Wei Chu. Wei Chu. Ding Che. Ya Li. Bao Xian. Oops. Bao Xian. Bao Xian. Alright. Got Link. Bathroom of his house enjoying something, and a married couple. A beautiful married couple comes in. His parents comes in and just says hi, we're peacing out. Pretty good. Elvish married couple, you know. Okay. And we have Yoshi in the bathroom of the pawn shop. He's trying to get into the bathroom. There's a bunch of... Oh, and the married couple was on deer. The deers were beautiful too. The deer were beautiful as well. Everything was beautiful, you know. Let's see. Trying to get in, but there was a horse. Horse blocking the way because there was a party going on in the bathroom. There was a lot of horsing around, if you get my drift. And Yoshi is a little depressed, so he just sits. He was trying to check out on the party, but he couldn't. It's horse butt everywhere. So he just sits on his eggs and wait, and he'll check again later. We have Charlie in the auditorium trying to do a performance, maybe like try to do a talent show. So he had a dollhouse, but he forgot his dolls. So instead, he uses a bunch of incense. As placeholders. Right. But the audience examines it. What a weird, sad kid, right? Why is he, upon examination or scrutiny, is scrutinized for using incense instead of dolls? Why? Now we have Zelda captured, placed in the basement of a temple. So Zelda taking advantage of that. You might as well improve her overall health. So she pulled up a silk mat, and a radio. It's a cushiony imprisonment and radio, and begin to work on her diet of corn stalks and hearts. Maybe it's a new fad diet, right? To improve her overall health despite being captured and imprisoned. Alright. And then now we have Yoshi. How does this work? And Yoshi in the English manner. Oh, having a competition. A competition between Yoshi and I don't know. What was it? Yoshi and shellfish? I forgot the middle one. Yeah, shellfish. So it's Yoshi and shellfish versus death and a mouth. I guess their goal was to hold on to moon. Let's just say a moon statue. And whoever wins gets, and the victor gets some crazy pills. Not really crazy pills, just some pills. For whatever reason. I'm pretty sure the top is cut off, right? Yeah, the top is cut off. Okay. You know, we got some special mentions, right? Young. Oops. John. Which is part of we. Or actually I, sort of. Always just use we. And what is another one? Ting. Ting. Which is oh my god. Art and Foreman. Yeah, Ting. Celebrate. I think that's it. Those are the two learning ones. Alright, folks. Wrap for HanziHero today. For hanging out. If you're gonna watch this later, yes. Always feel free to follow along, right? HanziHero for yourself. Maybe even follow along with Anki or something. I'm sure something similar like this, Anki. Always fun to talk about random things, maybe cross-cultural things. Got a chance to talk about like sharing some aspirations for studying abroad, cultural exchange, what have you. So I quite get caught up a lot of times talking about marrying, integrating, making relational connections between multiple languages, or learning a language reveals a lot about the self too. When you're actively evaluating the process of learning and whatnot, you can learn quite a lot about yourself and the people around, and how you interact with other people. Communication skills, right? Emphasizing communication skills, learning how to express yourself. As much as one can demonstrate things, and doing things, the act of demonstration is quite involved in how to express things, right? When you're expressing things, it doesn't have to be explicitly verbal. It can be shown, and showing doesn't necessarily mean the same as just doing. I think it's very different when someone says to themselves they're trying to demonstrate something by doing it, versus I'm doing it because I want to, I can. Oftentimes there's elements of needing to figure out how to make it so that it can be followed along, right? I try a bit, but some things are falling by the wayside. Like I'm trying to, in the interest of time, I've been expediting my thought process. In the future, maybe I can slow down and talk about the thoughts that come in my head. But now I'm like starting to move over to more complex stuff. So things move fast and loose. There's no like constant deliberation. I try to illustrate some of the stuff. So the stuff that comes quickly, that's gut feeling now. So everything that just comes along really quickly and I don't say anything, I'm practicing on trying to feel most of the things out. And then whenever we get to stopping points, that's when I start voicing and some stuff, talk about out loud, like going through the ropes and whatnot. And for Chinese, I haven't been really reciting too much. I like to recite when I can, but I'm also preserving my voice for other tasks over time. However, I am, after I've gotten so used to saying like 报警, right? 报警, yo, yo, yeah, right? Yo, yeah. A lot of times now that's happening in my head. So I'm reciting either in my head through listening or reading something, or speaking itself. So it's always going to be some sort of combination of everything throughout the process. And that's to demonstrate that you can do all of these things, or you can do some of them. You can stagger a bit of them. And for myself, it's become more like physical taxing than intellectual taxing. Anyways, feel free to come on by, drop and share some experiences, exchange some war stories, figurative war stories, or literal. Like, I welcome the more elderly, experienced people to share other things. I mean, even now, right? So until next time, for those who are only interested in Chinese, right? 大家下次见. See you next time. I'm gonna get up, take a quick bathroom break, and I'll be back for the last segment, which is to upkeep the Neverwinter stuff. All right, folks. I'll be right back. Thank you.